Hey there, my name is Jessica. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I hope that you enjoy. Just a brief overview, I do videos about productivity and motivation, as well as fashion hauls and health and fitness, so I kind of do a little bit of everything. But today is my 26th birthday. Happy birthday! And I wanted to make a dedicated little birthday video, and I did one last year. I'll link it up here. It was like 10 life lessons, but it's been a crazy year. I've had a lot of life changes as far as career goes, and just like mental health in general has been a huge focus for me, and I'm sure a lot of other people can relate. But let's just get right into it. So I'm just going to be discussing like the 5 things that I really had to learn and accept this past year specifically that I think that you could benefit from. As a birthday present to me, that would be so great if you subscribed. I also am going to put a timer up so I can time myself on each 5. I'm trying to keep it to like 5 minutes per lesson. So let's get into it. The first life lesson is based on friendships. I think that it's very normal to have different friends throughout different stages of your life, and especially right now in your 20s. Like, I just got married. I am really focused on my house. I am really focused on my life goals, and I'm in a really selfish time in my life because I want to have kids in the next few years. And so like right now, I really put all of my extra energy into preparing my marriage and my future for the family I want to create in the future. And I've also learned that I'm not everyone's cup of tea, and that that's okay. I may not be the best person ever, and I know deep down that I am a really good friend, and I know that I really care about my friends, and I really try to be in my friends' lives and make an effort there, and I think I have some of the greatest friends ever. I think it's really important to keep up with your friends, but also recognize the friendships that are natural and that feel really good to be in. I think it's okay to accept that friends can come and go, and as long as you're being true to yourself and you're not staying in friendships that make you feel like you're not enough, that is really the secret to really healthy friendships. My dad always told me growing up, you're lucky if you can count your friends on one hand. And when I was a kid, I was like, wow, that sucks. You have no friends. But it's really true. And so can't reiterate enough how important it is to stay in touch with those friends that make you feel really good, because those are the friends that you're going to want for every life stage. It doesn't really matter what different life stages you may be in now in your 20s and 30s, because there are so many different life stages that we go through in 20s and 30s, like marriage, kids, dating. Like, you can have a friend that's just still like trying to figure out what kind of guy they want to date, and then you have another friend who's having their 3rd baby with the guy that they're happily married to. I mean, there's just like, you never know. And I think this is a really hard time for most people, women especially, to have really strong, great friendships unless you guys are like all on the same life stage, which is almost impossible. So I just wanted to say, like, friendship has been a really good lesson for me my whole life. Think about how you want to be treated and think about how you're treating those friends. I know, like, for a lot of my friends, I don't keep in contact with them as much as I want to and as much as I feel like I should, and it's really hard for me to balance being selfish in my own life and my own goals and my brand new marriage. Like, there's a lot to work through with that, but I think it's just really important that if you have a great friend and you want to continue that friendship, you've got to put in the effort too. So I think that's very important too. So that is friendships. Okay, now I'm gonna do relationships. So just a little bit of background. I had a high school sweetheart all through high school, and then I went to college, and 2 weeks into my freshman year of college, I really started liking a guy across the hall that I thought was very attractive, and so I just like broke up with that high school boyfriend. And that was hard, but what was harder was when that guy across the hall broke up with me a year later. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because I think it is so important to be on both ends of heartbreak. And I think that, of course, there are lots of people who meet in high school or middle school and never have to go through dating other people or breakups, and they're happily married, and that's great for them. What a life. But I did not have that experience. And then I ended up dating a lot of people, and I think that that was really good for me because it taught me who I am as an individual. And that's really when I learned that you're not going to meet the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with until you are happy alone. And I know that that's so cliche, but it is so true. If you cannot spend weeks on end completely alone, thinking about yourself, doing things for you, going out to lunch alone, going to the gym alone, doing all this stuff alone, how do you expect anyone to be happy in a relationship with you? And I think what's really important is to realize that the most important relationship, and we just talked about friendships, and now we're talking about like dating relationships, but the most important relationship you can have is the one that you have with yourself. You shouldn't put your happiness on other people, and you should learn how to be happy 100% alone. And then the other person just adds this other light and all this other happiness onto your own happiness. And then as long as you're both happy alone, you'll be happy together, and that will withstand the test of time. And then as far as marriage goes, we are celebrating our 1-year anniversary in about like 2 weeks, and we've already learned a lot, but we've also been together for 6 years. I will say that coming from a marriage standpoint, when you're dating, you really need to think about what you want in a husband and the father of your kids if you want kids. First of all, I know people who have gotten married and the person that they got married to didn't want kids and they wanted kids. I don't know how you expect that to work out, because you're probably not going to change their mind. You could, but then what if you don't change their mind? Are you really going to be okay with giving up that possibility of having kids? If so, then that's fine, but you have to be true to yourself, and some people just are not meant to be. And as hard as it is, I think whenever you're choosing someone to marry, that is a partnership, and that's teamwork for the rest of your life. Who do you want near you when your parents pass? Who do you want next to you through giving birth to babies and raising kids? And who has the values that match up to yours, to where you guys can truly be a great parenting team? And do you guys have the same or, some similar life goals? Like if one person wants to end up in a yurt in the mountains and the other person wants to end up living a life of luxury in California cliff, I don't see that working out. I mean, it totally could, but I'm just saying, think about all these things. You should really marry your best friend. Another cliche, but what I'm learning is that all of these cliches are life lessons. I remember when I was dating the end of my college, before I actually met my husband, I dated a lot of really nice guys. And whenever I say I dated a lot of people, I don't want you to think I dated like 10 people, but if there was a nice guy who asked me out on a date, like I would go out with him, because I felt like I wanted to give people a chance, and I wanted to get to know everyone, and I wanted to know what I wanted in a husband and what my basically options would be. I think that's why I really knew right away when I met the person I wanted to marry that that's the person I wanted to marry. But I remember calling my mom and crying because I had just ended another date, and the guy was upset because I told him I didn't want to date him. And I told my mom, I was like, is there something wrong with me? Because these guys are great on paper. They're perfect on paper. But I don't really feel anything with them. Like, they're nice, they're attractive, they've got it going on for like careers, they're really smart, they're funny, but like, there's nothing there. And then when I met my husband, it was like, I felt like I've known him my entire life. It's just really important to be able to recognize those feelings when you're dating, so that whenever you do meet the person that you're gonna marry, it's like you know it. And the third life lesson is basically the entire premise of my channel, which is productivity. So recently I've really been in love with this quote, and in the back of my head I keep saying it to myself whenever I want to make a decision, and that quote is, okay, I can't find the quote, but basically, imagine the woman that you want to be, and with every single action in your day, think to yourself, is this what that woman would be doing? So, for example, is she sleeping in every weekend? Is she laying in bed an extra hour? Or is she getting up early with the alarm, or whenever she decides she wants to wake up? And is she going to the gym? Is she bettering her physical fitness? Is she meditating, or is she journaling? Or is she doing both? Or is she doing neither? If the person that you want to be is doing something different than you're doing, then how do you expect to ever be that person? Does that make sense? I have about 30 minutes, and I was like, you know what? I really need to film this YouTube video. And so because this is a priority, and because the woman I want to be would be making this thing a priority, I decided to come up here and film. And so it's things like that that you can do every single day that will really help you become the person that you're trying to be. You're the only one responsible for your own success. No one else can tell you what to do and when to do it. If you have a goal in mind, you have to go meet that goal and try your hardest to succeed in that goal. Something else on that line is time blocking. I'm thinking I'm going to do a whole video around time blocking. I'm still trying to learn it, and I'm still trying to, I want to say like perfect it, but that could be a whole nother life lesson. Not being perfect is okay, but I'm trying really hard to do time blocking, which is basically where you think about the most important tasks for your day, and then you schedule like an hour or 2 hours, however long it's going to take to get that task done, and in that time block you do nothing but that one task, and you put all of your focus and energy into it. And that what that does is it actually helps you become more successful, more productive. You get it done so much faster, and it's more quality work as well. So if you have a goal in mind, start planning your days and your weeks and your months and making those yearly goals and breaking them down into quarterly goals. I have a whole other video about this. I'll link it up here, my like goal setting video, but it is the one tip that has helped me actually succeed in a lot of my goals for the past few years. I know my mistake has been just knowing what I want to do and what's important, but then not actually setting the time to do it and setting the parameters to force myself to do those things. And then before I know it, a whole month's gone by and I haven't accomplished what I meant to accomplish. Okay, 2 more life lessons for you. I'm doing pretty good on time, so I'm really happy. Okay, the 4th life lesson. I'm gonna start my clock. Ooh, it's 1:11. Angel numbers. It's a good sign. Lesson number 4 is don't get too comfortable. So this one hits really close to home right now because I just started a brand new job last week, and it was really hard for me to do that. So what I mean by that is, especially as an adult in corporate America, especially, that's where I'm kind of thinking, and in relationships, I mean really in any part of your life, but my experience right now is from corporate America. So you get really comfortable in your job and you feel like you know exactly what to expect every single day when you walk in there. You know exactly how to get your job done. And there's something really nice about being comfortable in that role in your life and knowing what to expect and feeling really confident about what your day entails. There's something really nice and comforting about that because that's in your comfort zone. But throughout my entire life, if there's ever been a decision that was kind of scary or that made me question if this was what I really needed to do, or, you know, I don't know if I want to do this, it's going to be a lot of hard work, and scary decisions are always the ones that have been the absolute best decisions of my life so far. And I feel really blessed because I've had a lot of those decisions come into my life where I'm like, oh, that terrifies me. Let's do it. I've also been opening up my mind a lot, objectively, to a lot of different theories, especially, you probably heard me talk about it a lot on my YouTube the past year, but universal laws like Abraham Hicks, and like I listened to her a lot, and I've read her book, Ask and It Is Given. It's a very powerful, crazy book. And I've listened to her podcasts and learning about law of attraction, and I've been really trying to keep my mind open about other ideas, and I think that that is a really healthy thing to do because then you really get to decide, what do I believe and what am I going to let be the baseline of my life decisions. Everyone has always told me that in your job, it's not for you to be happy in, that you just get up, deal with going to work, get through another day, get through another week, and that's it. And I refuse to accept that. Okay, I know that like your job, and in my opinion, for me and my life, my job in corporate America is never going to be like my life purpose and what I'm so passionate about. I'm passionate about creating content and helping people become more productive and motivated because it's been such a struggle for me ever since college to actually be productive and motivated while juggling a job. And so that was kind of the whole reason why I started all this. But anyways, if you're not happy in something in your life, move on from it. And I was happy in my corporate job that I had before this, but I didn't like commuting every day, and I just dreaded every single week. And every single morning my first thought was dread. Like, I cannot believe I had to do this again. And I was exhausted, and I was angry all the time, and I was mean, I was emotional, and I was just a wreck. Even though my job was great, I actually really enjoyed my job, and I liked the people that I worked with a lot. There was just something about the environment and about the circumstance of commuting as far as I had to every day, which is about 40 minutes one way. All of that combined, it made it to where I was just very unhappy. And so I ended up finding a job that would allow me to work from home, but in like the same kind of job, which is what I like. The first week, like last week, I was really considering, okay, maybe I should just forget this, tell them I'm sorry, I'm already done, and go back to what I'm comfortable with, because there's so much for me to learn. And that was when it really hit me that this is a life lesson. These are some of the most beautiful moments in your life, because if you have anything that's going on and you have to deal with it every day or every week and you're not happy with it, you do have the power to change things. I know that everyone has different life situations and everyone has different abilities to do certain things, but to an extent, you do have the power to either rework the way that you're thinking about it or to change something. And I think that's really important, is to realize that even though it may be scary, those are usually the things that you'll be happiest with in the long term. You don't know who you are. You don't need to know everything about who you are and who you want to be ever, because that's part of the fun, is trying to figure it out and doing things along the way and finding out that you love them or you don't love them. It's never too late to change. That leads me into my final point. And this was huge for me, and I have a lot to say about it, so let me go ahead and put my timer on. Don't care about what people think about you. I could write a novel about this, because it is so hard. I know it is. There's such a big part of me every time I want to get on my Instagram stories or film a YouTube video, and I still think, I don't want to embarrass myself, and I don't want people to judge me, and I don't want to be a failure, and I'm scared to do all those things. But then I go, okay, if it was just me in the world, and like if I didn't know anybody in the world and I just popped in and wanted to make a change, is this what I would do? Would this make me happy to make videos and be on my Instagram and show my personality and post photos and, you know, give my little like life tips? Does that make me happy and feel fulfilled? It does. And so I have to stop right there. And even filming videos like this, in the back of my head, I'm still thinking about, okay, if this person watches this, what are they gonna think? And you can't be like that. There's no way to live your life like that. Otherwise, you're gonna end up like one of those people on your deathbed going, think about all the things I could have done if I didn't care about what people thought about me. And you don't want to be that person. At least you'll know that you gave everything that you wanted to a true shot, and you gave everything a chance, and you were with who you wanted to be with, and you did what you wanted to do when you wanted to do it, and obviously within reason. Like, don't be a crazy person. But if there are things in life that make you feel good and make you happy, and if there's a person that you want to be that person. And don't think so much about what strangers or even friends or even family, don't think so much about what they're gonna think. They don't even know what they're thinking about you. Everyone sees you in a different way, and no one else sees you like you see you, because you're the only one who's lived your life in your mind. So like, if my mom judges me for something that I'm doing, it doesn't really matter, because she'll never understand and she'll never see things the exact same way that I see things. And there is something so beautiful about that. And I think that's what I get from that Dr. Seuss quote. What was it? Like, I'm really bad with my quotes today. Dr. Seuss, you'll never be anyone else. Today you are you. That is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you. There's literally no one who is you except you. And so if you have the urge to do something, if you have inspiration to be creative, if you want to be a lawn landscaping genius, just do those things. Like, who cares what people think? So that's what I have. Those are my 5 life lessons on my 26th birthday. Thinking back, I probably should have done 6 for 26, but it is what it is. I hope that you enjoyed. Let me know what you think. If you have another life lesson that you would like to share, definitely put it down below. Maybe someone else will learn from that too. And let me know what you want to see next, because I love to hear what you guys want. That makes me feel really good when I'm making videos that are actually requested. So let me know. And yeah, go ahead and subscribe. As a birthday present to me, that would be so great if you subscribed. And I will see you next week.